We're good to go. We're
All
ready
right.
whenever you are.
Happening.
Do it. Just trying to get my chair in.
And just,
Oh, yeah, that's
just
a
try
good
and
idea,
speak
actually.
closer to the microphones when you
Yeah, just like right here.
can. Yeah,
Perfect.
that's perfect.
Welcome to Enya's Relatable Randomness podcast. If you haven't been here yet before, my name is Enya Graham Shuish, and here with me, joining me, is my friend Ferris.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing amazing. How are you?
I'm doing really good. I'm just really happy to be here with you right now on
Me
this
too. I
podcast.
feel so honored to be here actually right now.
Yeah, that's good. So, Ferris and I met at Calabash when we both worked there quite some time ago.
Almost more than a year ago now, yeah.
Yes, and
Favorite
you also.
coworker ever. It's
Oh,
amazing,
thank
by the
you.
way. So much fun. She trained me. She taught me how to do a lot of things. Fun times.
Yeah, and no, it's basically how we knew each other. So, Ferris is from Egypt. He's living here now, and how about you just tell us who you are?
Who am I?
What do you like to do? What do you feel like embodies you? Like who is Ferris?
I don't know. I feel like I'm a lot of things. I feel like I went through a lot of phases in my life, and aside from like, instead of like looking past these stages, I feel like I just grabbed a bunch of little tiny bits and pieces of myself, and that's who I am right now. That made no sense. It made so much sense in my head, but it made no sense right now.
I got it.
Let me try to explain it more. I don't know. How would I describe myself? Shit.
You you do drag queen?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a drag artist. I attempted being a drag artist. Sucked at makeup, not good. Was a really good dancer at first. I feel like I did some good shows. Fell off the stage a couple of times here and there. Hurt myself. Went to the hospital. It's not I'll talk about that. I do a lot of. I'm a server as well / bartender. I have attempted to go to school, but then I realized that I need a gap year because it's not my vibe right now.
Yep, that's all right.
Yeah. I'm a former activist, actually. That's cool. That's pretty cool to talk about, yeah.
Yeah?
I'm a former activist in
Activist
Egypt.
for what?
A lot of things. Started off with women's rights, actually, in Egypt. It was like a feminist movement that was happening in Egypt back in the day, like when I was 16, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that there were no men involved in any possible way. It was just like a bunch of women, mostly my age, just like yelling stuff on social media and stuff like that. And I was really big on filmmaking at the time, so I jumped in and did a couple of videos with these people.
Nice.
And one of them went huge. A lot of famous people started reposting it, and then I was like, oh, I should get into activism. So I did that. And
Did you do anything else other than just women's rights?
it started off like that, and then I jumped actually into animals' rights too.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
okay.
like no one is talking about this. People are torturing little puppies on the streets and all the time and stuff like that. It was so horrible. So I was like, I should kind of do something. And then one thing led to another, and I noticed that I have had a personal experience with my body that I was so like ashamed to talk about. I just never really thought of I'd be able to like publicly speak about. I was very much overweight when I was a kid. It destroyed my self-confidence. I was bullied a lot, and my mom came up with the idea that I could have a surgery, lose weight, and so I did. And I just thought that the surgery was kind of gonna change my life. It was gonna be like a life changer, a game changer. I was gonna be a completely different person after. Did it. Was still the same person, was still kind of bullied for different reasons, but still like on the same boat. And then it hit me. I was like, wow, I've done so fucking much. I've changed the way I dress, I've changed the way I talk, I changed my fucking body to fit into these little standards.
Yeah.
And then here I am, same
Yeah.
spot, nothing's happening. So
Do you feel like looking back at it now? Oh, so by the way, we're here to talk about being yourself, and so that's why we're going to get into these stories, kind of about our past experiences and the times that we weren't ourselves and how we became ourselves and how to remain true to yourself. So my question was, now when you look back about getting that surgery, how do you feel about that?
I think that if I had a person like myself today with me, I wouldn't have gone for it, but I feel also like if I didn't go for it, I wouldn't have had the confidence to go up on social media and speak up and be the person that I am today. So I can't say that, oh, it was a horrible idea. I wish I just never did. I wish I just stepped back. No, because I feel like the surgery gave me that little bit of confidence that I needed. I'm not saying that this is what you need right now, but I'm just saying that at the time I had no one around me. I was so insecure about my body and my weight. Like, people just put me in this little weird bubble of like, you are just an outcast in a way. I was like the biggest. I was like almost 400 pounds at 15, which was also unhealthy. People would like, it was just such a normal thing when I'm hanging out with my friends for them to open up about my weight. Some of them would be like, hey, we're just like really concerned about you. I'm like, okay, I appreciate the concern, but like, why are we talking about this right now? Like, all the fucking time.
It still is what it is right now. Thanks. I can't change anything in this moment.
It was such a weird thing. On top of that, I've always known that I'm queer in Egypt, so that was also like a big deal too. So I feel like the surgery definitely gave me that little push when I lost my weight and like was comfortable in my body. It gave me that little push to try to change the beauty standards and try to like, you know, give people a little different take on it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that does make sense.
Yeah.
For sure. Do you feel like, so like when you had that surgery, can you describe exactly what the surgery is?
It's a gastric sleeve surgery. So essentially they cut you up, 5 little cuts around the stomach, and then go in there and then take out 80% of the stomach so that you can't eat as much anymore. Yeah, it sounds pretty extreme, but it actually wasn't. It was a pretty subtle surgery, like it wasn't that much.
Yeah.
But you can't really eat for like a year and a half. Like,
you can't eat for a year and a half.
You eat, but like you eat the tiniest. No. I still eat. Bitch, I was eating. Trust me, I was still eating. But you couldn't really have like a bite of a sandwich, and that would be lunch for me. It was like that. And I was in school at the time too, so it was really not fun. I was like always like so dizzy and so out of it. I thought, I was really bad at school. That's what I'm trying to say. Surgery. No, wait, that makes no sense.
That's okay. That's all right. And so like at that time, how like obviously your friends kind of kept saying, like we're concerned about you. We're concerned about you. How do you feel like that really reflected on yourself? Were you trying to be a different person? Like how was that for your inner self when everybody around you was concerned and you had these issues?
Here's the thing. I just don't really think anyone was actually concerned, if that makes sense. I feel like it was just like, you know, like, look at me, I'm working out, I have a very healthy body, I know what I'm doing, so like I could help you, you know, like you could lose weight, like you could actually look fine, like you'd feel so much more confident. And a lot of people were also connecting me not having a girlfriend, like me like not having a crush, or like me not having a love life to my weight. A little did they know that I was gay. I was like, nope, it wasn't that, bitch. It wasn't that.
I just like dick.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm not really into pussy. That's a problem. So yeah, it's not that, like, they were concerned. It was just like them constantly trying to put me down in a way, constantly. Maybe they weren't trying to put me down, but it was definitely putting me down whenever we're like talking, whenever any conversation has got to somehow lead back to my weight. Not every conversation, of course, but most of them. Any hangout, any time I'm like with someone, people would always like open up my weight first. People would like, even the nice ones that wouldn't want to address it would like kind of try to go around it. They would like use different words. I don't know. I felt like such an outcast. So I wouldn't say a freak, but a little tiny bit like a freak. I was like, wow, like I'll show you some pictures. Like it was next level. It was pretty bad.
Okay, yeah. And so what if people totally ignored the fact that you were 400 pounds and they just kind of like treated you completely like normal, just like everybody else? Do you then feel like that would have been better for you?
Well, I don't know. That really happened. So
yeah.
I was still personally, due to like, I don't know, social media, movies, just like the world around me, I still did not like my body. People aside, I still was not very comfortable in my body. But that definitely what people used to tell me, like what like the comments that I always get made it much worse. But I honestly don't know. I've never had a moment before my surgery where someone was like, oh, you look gorgeous, oh, you look great. I think my mom was the only person that was like, oh, you have a beautiful face, period. Even my dad and my mom, technically, she didn't push me to get the surgery, but she was like, yeah, I don't like the fact that you're that obese. Yeah, like she was constantly saying these things.
Do you feel like your mom had a part to do with that? Because, you know, obviously, like when you're a kid and you're young,
definitely,
it's not really in our control to either know how much we're supposed to be eating, right? We kind of just like eat what's put in front of us.
I grew up in a very Egyptian household where food is very buttery and greasy and desserts are very sugary and it's just like it's some good stuff. I grew up with all the good stuff, honestly.
Yeah.
So I can't blame it on her because it's a part of our culture. I guess I didn't really have any self-control.
Yeah.
Ever since I was 6, it felt like I was always high when I was eating. I'm like, give me everything. Just like give me all the munchies, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
Back in those times then, you know, when you were feeling that like lack of confidence and stuff, did you try to make up this new like persona or anything to try to seem more attractive or seem more cool because of your weight?
Not a persona. It was definitely a persona, but it was more like I'm just gonna pretend like I like you so much. I'm gonna pretend like I am very interested in what you're saying. I'm gonna pretend like I want to be friends with you just to fit in a way. You know what I mean? Like if someone's like, I was never really into sports, but I would always like go to my friends like watch football and stuff like that just to be a part of the crew.
Yeah.
But I definitely put aside a lot of things that I like to do just so that because people kind of would put me down. People like I don't know. It wasn't even the comments that they say, but to them I was just like not as attractive, not as appealing. So I wasn't as popular. So my opinion wasn't that important. So I definitely, for like 3-4 years of my life, I was always like going with the flow just to avoid conflict or to avoid anyone hurting me in any way.
Yeah.
And I'm very much not a fighter. I'm very much not like, I wouldn't ever pick a fight. So I was always very aware of that because people always had this idea about me that, oh, you have such a big body, so you're definitely so strong. You can so, and at the same time, they knew that I wasn't a fighter, so people would always like to pick on me and be like, "Oh, come on, fight me," and knowing that I was really not gonna do anything.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Come on, big boy," like shit like that. That was like kind of hurtful.
Yeah.
Also. Yeah.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Yeah, it's kind of shitty.
Yeah. And so, around what age was all that happening? You said 15.
15 was when I had my surgery.
Okay.
I'd say like grade 6 was when I realized, oh shit, I'm such a loser right now. Oh shit, like no one likes me. Oh my god, like I have to try to fit in. So that's when I started like coming up with that persona or that like just faking everything with my friends.
Yeah, I know how that feels.
Yeah.
I know how that feels.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was in high school and in middle school, I had a lot of friends, for sure. Like I got to admit that I had a lot of friends. Some of them are still friends to this day. Some of them have passed, and some of them just, you can see that they truly weren't friends anymore, right? But one pattern that was very, very common amongst me and my little group was we were all two-faced as fuck. And that's just, I'm not going to say that that's how it is for everybody when you're at that young age, but the truth of the matter is all of us are just these flesh human things walking around who want to be accepted and who want to be heard and want to be appreciated. And that's just what we drive for as humans. And for me, I only recognize it now because I'm older, but looking back, especially when I talk about my bullying experiences or me being bullied, I kind of have to like remember the fact that I was a bully. I was for sure a bully, you know, like there were some friends who had certain things about them that would make fun of. Like this one girl apparently had down there smelled like butter, so everybody called her Butterfingers. You know, and that's not nice. That's terrible. That's horrible. And we used to just kind of do things like that. And it's like she was one of our closest friends, but it's like when she hangs out with me, I'm her best friend. When she hangs out with her, they're the best friends. But when me and her hang out, we're talking about her, right? And that's not okay.
Probably doing the same thing about you too. Yeah,
exactly.
Circle.
And that's the thing. And then it's like when you're young and naive, you kind of feel like, oh, like it's it becomes hypocritical because then I have a problem with it when people are talking about me like that. You know, but then I go off and talk about others like that. And, you know, truly, I can't even tell you that I got out of, like, all of that. It took me, like, a while, probably till moving to Vancouver, like, 5 years ago, that I really got off of, like, that gossiping stuff because I remembered the damage that it had done to me because in middle school, I was the bully. And then in high school, I got bullied, like, real bad.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it was... in high school, in middle school, people, I don't know if it's because of me being one of the only black people in my hometown, maybe because I was a gymnast for 13 years, so I was ripped. I don't know if it was had to do with those things, but people kind of painted me, like ever since grade 6, I was painted as this very strong, don't fuck with Enya. And even my friends who would have issues, they'd be like, I'm friends with Enya. You know, they'd use that to get out of like issues, confrontations. I don't know how people like painted me to be this big bully or whatever it was, but I'd never hit anybody. I'd never hurt anybody like that. I was not a physical person by any means, although I was in rugby and in gymnastics.
You could have, but you didn't.
I could have, exactly, but I didn't. Not until grade 9. Just kidding. We can get into that later.
I'll have that one moment, you know, sometimes.
Yeah, right? But people kind of just like put me into this place where they were like, They were afraid of me for no reason, and I embodied that. And I was like, oh yeah, you want to be afraid of me? So I started doing this and stuff to people. I started punking people, and I started making people actually afraid of me because I'm like, if y'all are going to think this, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
And then it hit grade 9, and then things totally switched. And then by that point, there was a rumor going around. Everybody thought that I had herpes. Not true. Everybody thought it. I had people walking out on me. Honestly, it was very, very traumatizing. I even had, at one point, my mom had even asked me if it was true because she had just heard it from like wherever she heard it, right? Because it's a very small town, so it's understandable. But all of it broke my heart because this entire town now made up a complete lie about me, and it was like getting into my life. So I wasn't being myself when I was a bully, right? I was being two-faced. I was trying to fit in. I was trying to say to any person that I had encountered something that I know they would like to hear. And one other thing about that is have you ever met somebody and one of the first things that they tell you is a secret of somebody else's?
Yeah.
Yeah, instantly they tell you a secret of somebody else's, or instantly they'll just talk shit about somebody else. And the thing about that is what people think is happening is like, by me telling you this secret of this person, I'm showing you that I trust you, therefore you should trust me. Wrong. You should not trust me because I'm telling you their secret.
Literally, honestly,
right?
yeah.
But that's kind of like, I can't remember a specific time that I'd done it, but there are for sure times that I'm sure I'd done things like that to kind of win people over. And the truth of the matter is, when I was being a bully and being bullied, all of that takes you away from being your true, authentic self because you've painted yourself like people have painted you, and then you've embodied this whole bully figure, and now you're being bullied for something that also isn't yourself, right? And so just like going through that, it was really hard, and it was hard to realize that Enya is not being Enya until I actually started to become Enya, like when I moved out here, when
Would you say that moving out here was when you actually broke through?
No, I think that I guess fully yes, because it also depends on who you surround yourself with, right? If you are still around the people that you used to gossip with and cause a ruckus with, most likely none of you are growing if none of you are growing, right? And none of us were at that time. Only later on when I moved was when like some of my best friends and stuff, they would be like, one of my closest friends, Chelsea, who recently passed, I was on the phone with her, and then this was not that long ago. This was only like a couple years ago. And I was on the phone, and I remember I said something, because for me talking about Portal Burning, like I haven't heard gossip and whatever, and I was like, I forget what it was, but I was just like, oh, like this person, blah, blah, blah. And she hit me back with, you know what? I'm not really into talking about them right now. Like I just don't see the point in doing that. And to me, that was like a huge awakening because not only is she one of the friends who we used to gossip with or about, but she's also one of the people who was still in Port Alberni, but is no longer doing that and breaking through. But also because that she ended up losing a lot of friends. There was a lot of things that fall apart with that, but. Yeah, moving to Vancouver played a big part in it, and it was because of the change of my association and of my environment, right? Because I started hanging out. I've always hung out with older people, but especially when I moved to Vancouver, I didn't hang out with anybody my age. I kind of still don't hang out with really many people my age. Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm almost 24 in January.
Yeah.
How about you?
Can you guess?
I feel like, are we not the same age? I feel like you're a year older than me. I think you're 96.
I'm 20. I'm
You're
born
20?
2000. She tried. I'm pretty sure you guys thought the same too. Everyone, I never. Come on.
How were we working together? Where we were working?
I had just turned 19.
Okay. I was like,
I was still legal. I was legal. I was legal.
Yeah.
But I had just turned 19.
Yeah. But yeah, I just find when you're hanging out with people who are constantly gossiping and constantly just talking about everything else that's going on all out here except for themselves and their own progress and productivity or their own faults or the person who they're sharing the conversation with, that's the things that you should be talking about within those people. You shouldn't be talking about this person, that person, because honestly, that's not you being your true self.
Also putting people down.
It is.
It really kind of reflects on who you are. And not just reflects on who you are, but kind of bites you up the ass eventually, if that makes sense. It's like, I feel like every time I made fun of someone for something, it was always a way that I'm like, something that I'm going through as well. Like I'd always make fun of how people would look like sometimes at that time, just like, just to fit in and be like, oh yeah, did you see that? Oh my God, did you see this? And I'm only just doing that to be like, oh, I'm cool. I'm like you guys. I'm pretty too. I'm attractive too. You know what I mean? But like in the back of my head, I'm just going to say that to just like, you know,
Yeah.
get the spotlight away from me. Just like kind of put someone else instead.
Yeah.
As opposed to being like, hey guys, let's just not maybe. Let's just like kind of be good people for a second there. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And then also when you're in a group of people who like to gossip and you're the one that says, I'm not really down for that, because there has been a time that when I was really into gossiping and I had said something and someone was like, we don't do that here, and I was like, all right then, like, okay, fine.
Or better than me.
Yeah, it kind of hits your ego a little bit, you know, and that's just the whole key, is to not be around those people who do that, because also it's not cool, it's not nice, and it's also painting a picture of somebody that isn't actually them. Because usually a lot of gossip isn't the truth. It's just your opinion on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's super true. That's super true, honestly.
Yeah.
Fuck gossip. Just putting it out there.
Do you feel like you can say right now, today, in 2020, November, what day is it?
I don't know, 9th, 11th.
November 11th, Remembrance Day. Are you living your true, authentic self?
Am I living my true, authentic self? I'd say that I'm trying my best to. It's not really something that you can just like embody in a second. You know what I mean? I feel like you gotta work your way up to get there. It took me so many years. Like I had so many different phases. That's what I meant in the very beginning. I'm like, am I right now though? I can say yes, because I really am not, for multiple reasons. But am I trying to be? Yes, for sure I am. Which is as I don't know, this is like the best I can do right now, I guess. There's too much happening in the world, I feel, with COVID and everything.
Yeah.
Like nothing is just going as planned. I'm still in a way sometimes would fake things with some people, sometimes would try to fit into certain standards, like, but for the most part, I'm trying my best, yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
What about you?
Yeah. I think like all over the map, to be honest. Yeah, I'm tired. I'm tired of like pretending. Like, you know, I'm tired of like trying to spice things up to sound more interesting. You know, of course everybody can like bend their story a little bit, but that's also just being a storyteller. You know, but yeah, I would say I'm myself, because the one thing that I learned, and I actually did this through smoking marijuana,
Of course.
to be honest with you. There was a point when I quit like drinking and stuff, right, a couple years ago, I was smoking a lot of weed. And what I found, though, in that time is the I don't give a fuck part about it. The I don't give a fuck part to be able to have that confidence in being you. So
how amazing is it just unlock that part?
Oh my God, honey, I was literally getting jiggy with it on the side of like Granville and Georgia, just not caring, doing a little two-step with my headphones in. Put your hood on if you want to.
And I know her. That's how she is. I feel like it's just see you all the fucking time.
Just go for it, because like, who fucking cares? And if you care, that doesn't, like, if you have a problem with me singing on the side of the street, if me dancing on the side of the street, being myself, whose problem is that really? That's your problem. At no point does that become my problem. It's your opinion on me. It's your issue because of whatever issues you've got going on. It's got nothing to do with me. And so the problem with this all is that there's so many people that are going out, walking around, not being themselves, you know? And the thing is the people who are afraid to be themselves are the people, because people will throw them shade. Sometimes, you know, like you're on Instagram and you're like, this is people who have the jealousy, who have the like the hatred or the envy, whatever it is inside of them. These are the people who will hate on you for being yourself. But the truth of the matter is that they are only hating on you because they are purely jealous of the fact that you can be yourself and that you can go do whatever and be whatever.
For the most part, I feel like I've met a lot of people, I've hung out with a lot of people, and whenever you see this one person just doing their thing, vibing their own thing, even if they're hating on it, in the back of their head, it's like, I just really want to be that. I want to be myself in that way. I want to be that authentic. You know what I mean? Even if someone does not agree with what you're doing, but like everyone deep down really wants to be their true selves. Everyone just wants to fucking dance on the side of the road, 100%. Just do their thing. Yeah. I've had that moment too, I feel, this summer. At Rec Beach, actually. I just like this.
Oh, big surprise. Barry spent every single day at Rec Beach. So he's like, oh, actually, I was at
living there,
Rec
you guys.
Beach.
I was
Like, you were
living
literally there
It was a
daily.
problem.
Like,
It was a
daily.
problem.
Like, there was like days back to back where he's like, come to Rec. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing at Rec so much?
Why
Like,
was she
that's
wouldn't come? And she still never
that's so many
came. But
stairs,
she didn't even
right?
come once.
I went to Rec once. It was for a friend's
And you
birthday.
texted me, and that was the one
And
day
it
I
was
wasn't
the one
there. I
day, the
think.
one day you weren't there, the one day. But
remember that.
good for you with
Yeah.
those stairs going up and down. And if anybody who's watching who does not know what Rec Beach is just down by UBC, and it's got an immense amount of stairs to go up and down. And the thing about Rec Beach is it is a nude beach, and it's also where all the hippies like to get naked and do lots of mushrooms and acid. So it's a really good time.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm just like, and you win every day because of those crazy stairs. So good for you.
Thank
Continue.
you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, well, I was on a very intense psychedelic experience, and I had never gone naked at the beach. I feel I've always been so insecure about my body in general. When I lost weight, it was great and everything, but I still have a lot of floppy skin. I still like just don't feel comfortable about a lot of parts of my body. So to go naked, it was just like kind of odd for me. So I just never did. I'd always like wear this cute little yellow thong.
Until
that day. Drum roll, please. It's like sitting there, looking at the ocean, just vibing. Had a little cigarette on me. Had a little thing of coconut water for the skin. You know, everything was just perfect. And then suddenly, I just literally got up. I had a scarf around me. I actually didn't have my thong, and I just took off the scarf, put it in my bag, and walked around the beach. And it was like, just act normal. Just like no one's. It's okay. You can do this. Like it's totally fine. And I walked all across the beach naked. And I came back, and it just felt so fucking amazing. Not the naked aspect of it, just breaking free, doing this one thing that I never thought I could be able to do.
Yeah.
And then I've noticed that, like, I've always been doing that, just like getting into drag, performing on stage, doing one of my TED Talks. I've done TED Talks, by the way. We will go back to that.
Yeah. We'll put the link below the video.
Yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, it was just that break-free moment, and it just felt, you know, how amazing this feels when you're just doing your thing and vibing with yourself. Yeah, that was really good. You might think that it was because I was kind of high at that point, but I think after that, still, like after that day, I just would never want to wear anything at that beach anymore.
Yeah.
It's like putting
I was
myself
seeing
out
booty
there.
pics on a
Yeah,
daily.
right. All the fucking time. All the time. I was vibing with it. And even though sometimes right now I would still like look at my body and be like, yeah, I don't love you very much, but I still fucking respect you, and you're there, and I love you, and I'm gonna embrace you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm working with.
Yeah.
And so, why be paying all this mind to all the negative things that you don't like about it when that's your choice, is to pay mind to those or to pay mind about the positive things, right? Yeah, and you made a choice to pay mind to the positive. So I don't know why I keep trying to say positive.
I know that. I was like, what the hell is she
that
saying?
was the second time.
I was like, English is not my first language, but still.
Yeah, right?
Like,
no, totally. I feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not get naked at Rec when I was there. I've been there once. I did not.
No, once, whatever.
Yeah, and I mean, I was also like.
You didn't go on the life-changing psychedelic experience.
No, but well, I'm not saying that, but there was just a big group of us, and like none of us were really on that vibe, and I was just with some of my really good friends, and yeah, we just haven't shown each other our prep parts yet, so.
It's like you're gonna do it at home first, just like go like just be like, look at this, okay, let's go to the beach now.
Yeah, see this? Let's go to Rec now. Yeah, see, that would be really weird if we were to do that. That would be the weird part. Being at Rec and being naked would not be the weird part. Yeah. I want to go back to when I was talking about how I found my true self when I was smoking weed.
Yeah.
So I was smoking like day, night, like I was a wake and baker, and just kind of like living that life. And honestly, like it just, it was a feeling that I just kind of had inside me, especially when I had my headphones in and I'd be stoned. I started to really treat the world as if it's my world and y'all are just living in it. Because the truth is, it is my world and y'all are just living in it, right? Because if you are not the center of your universe, who is? What is? You know? Exactly. It's almost my
check 1 2 3. Is it still working? Yeah,
we're still
perfect.
working. We're good. Yeah, we're good. And that was my biggest thought that I had that really brought me to this side of just being yourself, was the idea like you can, if you didn't know this, you can train your brain to think absolutely anything you want. And the one thing I did train my brain to think is that this is just my world and everyone's living in it. So any little person that walks past me, they are my background actors and I'm the actor. And everybody would look at me, when I'm dancing, when I'm singing, when I'm just grooving, of course. Sometimes I'd be like walking down the street and you kind of do like a point ball change, or a little like two-step thing.
Yeah.
And people would be like, oh, whoa. So they think I'm tripping, But then I do another one just so they know I'm not.
I meant to do that. Just
Exactly. I wouldn't do it so they would know that I wouldn't. I would be doing it because I'd already doing it. Because truly, I'm not paying any mind to the
It's
people.
your fucking world.
Exactly. And I'm sure everybody listening and watching can agree with this, as yourself as well, and me, and everybody in the studio. But we've all seen those people before, whether it's at work, an event, in the grocery store, maybe even specifically Walmart, who they're just doing something where they're just really being themselves. And a lot of the people who are really being themselves are a little bit extra, right? And like, I've been guilty of it. I've been guilty of looking at that person and been like, why? Like, is this necessary? Why you gotta be so much right now? Just like chill,
It's just engraved in us, I feel. It's like you kind of have to. You look at someone and you're like, oh, weird. And then you...
Yeah. But that's the problem. That's the problem. The problem is starting with that idea that I think that's weird, that person might actually be doing something weird. That could be something. But we're all pretty weird creatures, and everybody's got their own weird thing.
So what is weird? What is normal? Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Like, I don't think I know any... Actually, no, I do know. I would say I don't know normal people. I know boring people. Yeah, because, exactly, what is the norm?
Yeah, exactly.
Really, right?
That's exactly what we're talking about right here. Like, what is normal? Like, there's no such thing.
There is no such thing. There is absolutely no such thing as normal. Normal can only really be accounted for, in things where it's way more cookie cutter, where, it does. I don't feel like normal comes into play when we're talking about human characteristics.
Or a very big place as well. Like, normal back home is so different from normal over here. Normal in BC is different than normal in Alberta, or something. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Exactly. So, sometimes I'd be guilty of just seeing people and kind of being like, what are you doing? And then I started to pick up on that when I was doing that, right? And I had to, whenever I have a question or I think that there's something wrong, the first thing I do opposed to continue to judge that person is I try to ask myself, what's my problem, right? And my problem is that I couldn't stand looking at people being able to be themselves when I felt like I couldn't, because truly when music comes on, I want to dance, period. Music came on right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that night too.
I remember that night. It was fun.
Oh, it was. Wait, which one are we talking about? Are we talking about Calabash?
It was my first time ever working a weekend, I think, and they had downstairs was a nightclub, and I walked down and I see this gorgeous creature on the dance floor, just kind of I was like, ooh, I like her. And that's how.
Was that me?
Yeah, that was me.
I'm trying to picture this girl. Remember?
Who is that? And then we just vibe. Everyone, even I remember the group of girls came up to you and were like, wow, we love your vibe.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I remember that. We were dancing at every space in that whole place, though. That's just the beauty about Calabash is that it's just so live, and so you can just dance and have fun wherever you want.
Used to.
Yeah. Used to. Yeah.
Shout out to COVID. Putting it out there.
Yeah, right? For real. I can't even dance anymore. Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Yeah. But so we've addressed the problem. The problem is not being able to be yourself. And the problem why we can't be ourselves is because that fear of being rejected, that fear of not being welcome, that fear of just all the judgment. It's all it is really the fears that we have. But the reason we fear those things is because the people who can't do those things are the ones who judge us. So are we going to be a part of that little circle where we're like, I'm scared, I'm allowing people to knock me down, and the people who want to knock me down are the people who wish that they were up as well. And it becomes this little runaround circle. And the way to get out of that is...
be yourself.
And how do you be yourself?
Have the confidence to embrace it all, man, and just go for it. I feel is that a wrong answer?
No.
I'm kidding.
I
was like, shit, what did I just say?
I put you on the spot there, totally.
I was like, fuck, she's gonna beat me after this?
Exactly. Okay, you and I are both very confident people. how are you this confident? How can you go on Instagram and post your booty? How can you walk down that street with your dick out? How can you just be as an extroverted as you are? Where did you find this confidence? Like, where does that come from?
When I realized that I don't owe anyone anything, I feel like it is my world, literally. It's when she says that it's her world, doesn't mean that it's you're living in her world. No, this is her world. This is my world. This is your world as well. You know what I mean? And that's when that was like the realization. Ugh, such a hard word. Realization that I came to, and I was like, oh fuck yeah, that's amazing. It was when I just realized that it was just I gotta do my thing. It's my fucking world. It's my Well, that aside, I feel like I also was shut down by a lot of people growing up, and the more I try to change, the more they would come up with more things that they don't like about me, the more it was like there was always something wrong with me, whether it was my weight, me being too feminine, the way I walked, the way this, that, me just not being good at school. It was always just something happening, and the more I try to work on it, the more I realize that I have more flaws, so I just was like, nah. Embrace it all, man. Embrace it all. And as soon as I did, I just started like unlocking things about myself. I found out that I like to dance, for example. I found out that I love karaoke. Before, I used to hate karaoke because everyone was like, you have such a bad voice. I thought that I had the most, oh my God, that's a funny story. I thought that I had such a good voice. Auditions to the X Factor, The Voice, just like online auditions. Never got accepted, but I always was like, whatever, like I'll get accepted next season. And then when I was like 14 or 15 or something, I went for karaoke with my friends. And you know when you're like, I was seriously singing, and then they kind of laughed, and I was like, why was that funny? Like, I was literally just singing. I was so bad to the point that they thought I was just kidding, and it put me down so hard. I was like, oh. No, I thought it was so good. And it's like just like little things like that, I feel, that I found out about myself as soon as I just started not giving any fucks.
Yeah.
It was like, I don't know, it was like I felt like a completely different person, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So pretty much the key is to gaining the confidence that you need in order to be yourself is to stop giving a shit about what anybody thinks. Anybody. You know, even if it's your parents that have an issue with something to do with your personality or your characteristic. Holy.
A lot of big words here, you guys.
Should have exercised, lip twirls or something before this. Whether it's your family, whether it's your friends, whether it's somebody at your job who's trying to put a little dent in your personality or characteristic, or they have an issue with it, drop them. Just kidding. You don't need to drop your family. But they shouldn't be doing that regardless. But, you know, if it is.
No, but to be fair, sometimes it does. You do need to drop people out of your life.
That is true.
Even if it is your family. I personally, that's what I did with me, like, coming out. Sometimes people are just so toxic in your life. And I know that, like, family's family comes first and all that. But in some situations, family could be super toxic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, like.
Sorry, I just wanted to point that out.
No, that's great. So when you came out being gay, how were your parents with that?
My mom has always known.
Okay.
She wasn't okay with it at first, for sure, but she kind of grew to learn that, oh, this is happening. She tried everything. Low-key was sent to conversion therapy. Was sent to a lot of therapists. Like, a lot was happening. Yeah. Not when I say conversion therapy, it wasn't like the way it's portrayed in movie. Well, I mean, of course, the way it's portrayed in movies does exist, but the one I went to was kind of different.
To be honest with you, I don't know what conversion therapy is.
Conversion therapy is this thing you go to try to reverse your sexuality and make you straight. But the thing is...
Do we have that here?
No, it's like pretty much illegal in Canada. They do have it in the States.
Okay.
So. Well, I mean, it's illegal, but it's illegal. It's technically not legal anywhere. Like, it just happens, like an underground thing that they do.
Yeah.
It's very religious. They do that by kind of getting you to hate who you are. What I personally have went through, it was more like, so, you're gay. Yeah, I am. He would just go like, do you realize how big of a sin this is? Do you realize what your fate is? Do you realize that God has said that you being gay means that you are condemned to eternal hell? Like, stuff like that. That's what I have gone through personally, which like definitely just destroys your mental health, destroys you as a person. But I've heard and seen people go through much, much worse, like torturous methods sometimes. They like electrocute them, they rape them, they make them hate what they are. Yeah, because if you're gay, for example, they will like literally rape you and make you hate sex, make you hate, like, it's just so fucked up. Ugh, it's just kind of getting goosebumps here.
Yeah.
It's just like crazy. But yeah, my mom, she didn't send me to that. She sent me to something way more ethical. Not ethical, but like more
Not
better, not
crazy,
not as
crazy, yeah.
rapey and horrible.
Yeah. How about your dad?
Yeah, he didn't really come around yet. I kind of dropped him out, but he has put in a lot of effort to come back into my life, but
Yep.
not to accept.
Yeah.
Just to come back and guide me out of it, which kind of hurts right now because it's like,
And he's still back in Egypt, yeah?
yeah, we talk actually almost every day.
That's good.
Yeah, no, really, I feel like it's not. I
Oh.
kind of had hoped, and I like. Don't take this the wrong way. I love my dad so very much. I don't know if he's gonna watch this or not, but like, I did try to drop him at some point, and I did try to like move away from him at some point, and then he made so much effort to come back. So I was like, okay, you're welcome back to my life. But every day we talk, the conversation has to lead back to me being gay, or has to go in a way that's like, oh, you have so many girlfriends. Like, is there a thing happening with any of them? Like, what's happening? And then I'm like, Dad, you know exactly what's happening. And he got mad at me, for example, for saying that. So
How does that make you feel?
it makes me feel horrible. Ugh, it's crazy. It's like, I don't know. As easy as it sounds to like drop someone out of your life, especially if someone's really toxic, it's really hard to do that when this person has been there the whole time.
Yeah.
And the thing about my dad is that he has great intentions for me. It's not like he's doing that because he hates me. He's literally just doing that because this is what he thinks is right.
Yeah.
This is what he genuinely believes in, and he just doesn't want me to go to hell, I guess.
Yeah.
Which really, really sucks because there's no way to talk him out of it. It's not like it's a perspective. It's not like a food. I'm like, hey, try this, hey, do that. No, it's more like, this is what he genuinely believes. He's believed in this for 50 years now. There's no possible way I'm going to make him change his mind.
Do you think you're going to hell?
No.
Do you believe in hell?
That's why I thought about it for a long time. I'm like, I'm not going to disvalidate anything. I really don't want to share like any religious beliefs of mine, but like, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what is happening. I don't know what's true and what's not. I have traveled around a lot. I've been to almost 22 countries now. Wow. Well, not almost. I've been to 22 countries. I was like, almost.
I'm actually halfway on this.
Like,
next one right now.
Yeah, I've been to a lot of places, seen a lot of religions, and one thing that I've noticed is that everyone so genuinely believes in their religion to crazy extents.
Yeah.
So you can't just come to me and be like, I really do believe in it. I like you believing in it, or you having millions of people believing in it, is not a valid reason for anyone to believe in this religion. Yeah. So I'm not gonna say that I don't believe, and also not gonna say that I do believe. I'm gonna just put it out there. Like I'm just
Yeah. I'm just gonna say I don't believe in hell. Yeah, I don't. And I also really, really, really strongly, like, all of the power, every little fiber inside of my body does not believe that, because being gay or anything under any of that would mean that you're going to hell. Because truly, just like, love is love at the end of the day. And, and I find there are a lot of religions that really don't accept, like, gayness, right? And just gayness, like, period. I can't say people being gay because, like, in Rwanda, if you act gay, you get killed. That was just a bill that got passed, I think, almost a year ago now.
It just got passed.
About a year ago. And so even if you are acting flamboyant, Rwanda, so that's why I said gayness, because it's not like they are
not just
gay.
homosexuality. It's like just
exactly, yeah. And I don't remember where I was going with that, but I'm just gonna keep rolling off of what I was saying.
Story of my life.
Yeah. So, for the religions and stuff that don't appreciate that, I just think that is, coming up and thinking that this is this, and yes, these people reproduce, and then seeing that these people don't, I can understand why people would think that it's wrong. But at the end of the day, it's just all about acceptance and the fact that we are all very interesting, different individuals that have very different wiring and very different biology to us. And whatever it is that you want to go out and that you want to be should be accepted in this world. Like, it's pretty crazy to think that I can wake up tomorrow and if I want to be a couch, I'm supported. You'd support me if I want to be a couch.
I'd fucking support you. I'd sit on you too.
Exactly.
Full on,
exactly.
all out.
If I want to go be a cat, I can go be a cat. I can go pretend
Meow
I'm a cat.
away, baby.
I'm saying all the wrong things right now.
I'm like, I don't know where she's going with this, but I support her.
Yeah, he liked it. It's fine. But it's all about acceptance. And, obviously you have felt just like forefront of how it feels to have especially like a loved one and such a serious figure in your life. What happens to you when you're not accepted, and what kind of damper it can do on your character and your personality. You know, if someone doesn't want you to be this type of way, but it's who you are inside, what is that going to create? You know, because someone's saying like, no, you can't do this, you can't be that. And then you're like, but this is who I am, but this is who I am. For you, you're like, fuck that, I'm me, I'm gonna go do me, screw the world, right? But for some people, it can be very, very, very crippling. You know, you can just get into this little ball where your inner soul is screaming to be yourself, but the entire world outside is screaming to tell you no. And that's something that you just need to break out of. If you are somebody in that place, in that position, or if you have been, or you know somebody who is, it gets challenging when it comes to family, and I can totally understand that and see that. And, you know, like, I have a cousin where her parents, she basically said that she cannot, you know, like, she can't come home with a black guy, or else basically her parents would disown her, you know? And that's like, you've already now limited her to her like beliefs and to what she thinks is, and how far her love can go by just their opinion on black people. And that's not okay, right? Because now she really truly thinks that she should never be with a black man. And that's really freaking unfortunate. And so all these little times that you want to look at that person who's doing that weird thing and you give them the off look, or maybe even the time that you take to judge, you are still giving them that much of your time. And time is the most precious thing that we have to us, right? Whatever the hell time is. It's the most
super
precious thing
precious. We love it, but it's also like, what is it?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
true.
totally. And each time that you're saying anything, or you're judging, or you're saying that this is wrong, you're taking your time out of your precious life to not be putting somebody else down. And what you're doing is you are not helping out that person's life. You want to give that open space for someone to be whoever it is that they want to be. And that is one of the things that I have taken on as one of my missions in my personality and who I am, is to do everything in my power to make it so I make the person beside me the most comfortable as possible to be themselves. And you need to give people that space to be themselves, because like I said, when you don't, you cripple them. And doesn't anybody want to be the individual where everyone comes to you to talk to you, where everyone tells you what's on their mind, where everyone can be free in themselves? Because I know I've been that for many friends before, and I see the things that it does. And I have people in my life who I can be completely raw, open myself with, which is majority of the people, because I choose to do that. But that's just the thing, is give people that open space to do, to say, to be whatever it is that they want to be. Because if you don't, they can never be that person. And obviously, if they're already in a spot where they're not being that person, you're not going to help it by keeping them in this little box to begin with. You know?
True, so true. But also, that being said, a lot of people really don't know who they are. Not who they are, but like what they want to be. A lot of people have grown up in an environment that is like, oh, this is life, this is how it works, be a part of it, period. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
How do you think, like, have you had that? Have you grown up that way? Or did you have more of like open-minded family that were like, yeah.
I don't even know how to explain this. Okay, so I'm just going to give like a little story to go along with this. When I was like about 7 years old, I woke up one day and I was obsessed with Jesus. Like, I was obsessed. Like, my parents aren't religious like that.
Oh, you
like,
were?
they did not push
Okay.
Christianity. Like, they never even mentioned God once in my life. You know what I mean? I woke up one day and I was basically like, I'm like, okay, I'm a Christian now. And I was 7 years old. So my mom bought me this big mural of Jesus' face, all these nativity scenes. I had about 12 of them, and I used to wear crosses all the time. And she was just like, oh my God, like, my freaking daughter is possessed. You know, like, what is going on? Like, where did you learn about church? I used to get
the complete opposite of
like,
what I usually
100%.
happens.
I used to get my parents to drive me to church on Sundays to drop me off by myself. And then one day when I was 13, I was completely over it and done with it. And my mom's like, all right. So she packed up all my nativity scenes with me, and we put it all in boxes. So that's just to kind of give you an idea of, I was always...
You always had the option of being...
Always. My mom never pushed me to go to post-secondary school. She never pushed me to do anything or anybody. Whatever I told her I was and who I wanted to be, it was very, very open. And it was very accepted.
Which is amazing. Which is absolutely amazing. I, on the other hand, grew up in a way that was like, I am an only child, and I am the only male of a male in our family. For those of you who don't know how that works, I'd say in some African countries, but mostly in Muslim countries.
Wait, sorry. What did you mean? You're the only male of him.
In my dad's on my dad's side. So I'm the only person carrying my grandfather's name, if that makes sense.
Oh.
Yeah, and my dad has 6 siblings, so that's a big deal. Yeah.
So all sisters.
No, he has 4 sisters.
So he's the 5th.
About that. No, he's the 7th. He has 4 sisters and 2 brothers. None of his brothers have kids. One of them had just passed, and
Oh,
yeah.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, and the rest of them are all women. So they,
Sorry to hear about
it's
that,
pretty
by the
much.
way.
Oh, don't worry about it. In Islam, the way it works is that the man gets to name the guy, like. How do you say this? So if you have a kid, if you're a male, he gets your name and your father's name and your grandfather's name and your last name.
Like first name or last?
Wait, we're in Canada. Hold on. First and last names don't work the same way. So your first name is your first name, middle name is your father's name, last name. We don't have a lot. We have like a second middle name. It's your grandfather's name, and your last name is something different.
Really?
Yeah. So this is what a first, middle, last name is.
So your first name though, that is just your chosen first name. That's not from anybody else?
No.
Okay.
So my name is Ahmed Ashraf Fathi Muhammad Al Faris.
Sorry, can we?
Yeah.
Let me.
Ahmed, that's my name.
Ahmed.
First name. Second name is Ashraf, which is my father's name.
Oshdov.
Ashraf.
Ashraf.
Ashraf. There you go. Ashraf.
Ashraf.
It's kind of hard. It's pretty hard.
Very hard.
Yeah, it gets harder way. Fathi.
Fateh.
Yeah.
Fateh.
Sure.
Fateh.
Yeah. Muhammad, you know that name.
Muhammad.
It's a pretty popular name.
Mhm.
Last name is Al Faris. So this is literally dad, grandfather, great grandfather, and then last name. There are so
your
many
last
people in the
name
middle.
is Ferris.
Yeah.
But you go by Ferris.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's a long story. I feel like I feel like this is me becoming more myself.
There we go.
Yeah. My first name is very, very, very religious. It's associated with like one of the biggest Muslim figures, I feel. And when I came out to Canada, I kind of wanted to like, I don't know, dispatch from that, kind of like, be my own individual self. Not that there's anything wrong with, like, I know that name is just your like, identity and everything, but like, I just didn't feel like I belonged to that name.
Yeah.
And I love the name Ferris so much.
Me
I
too.
like that it's my last name. It's still a part of me. And also, it means a knight, which is pretty fucking cool. So I just
Yeah,
go by
there
that.
you
Yeah.
go.
But yeah, that's how it works. So back to what I was saying. I have grown up with a lot of expectations. You need to, like, my father always was like, you need to go to business school. You need to, like, come help me out with my business. You need to, like, be a part of the family stuff. You need to get married, have kids. Like, it was just such a big deal. Like, whenever I'd make jokes about not getting married because I knew I was gay, but he didn't, he would always just be like, oh, you're just saying that because you're a kid. You know, it's just, I don't know, it was like 17 or something. Let's wait until you're 20. You're going to come and bring a girl home and be like, hey, Dad, I want to marry her. I'm 20 now, so. Did not happen, you guys.
29,
Yeah.
gayer than ever.
So, yeah, growing up like that was so hard to figure out who I am. And the way I figured that out was I traveled to, I think, Paris, Italy, first time ever on my own. Went to a bar for the first time in my life. Had a drink. I was 16. Actually, it was illegal still, but whatever. It's Italy. I was in Florence. No, it was in Rome. And then I was like, wow, this is a different world. Like, people go out for drinks. Because in Egypt, I feel like we go out for food. That was like, oh, that's pretty interesting. And then we went to a club and people were dancing. And I was like, whoa.
Really?
Dance like that? Like, how do I do this? It's weird. And then I did 4 shots of Jaeger. First, I had no idea
then
what
it was
Jaeger
me
was.
doing
And I
it.
was like, it was weird. I was possessed at that point, I feel. And also, I did not know what a shot was. I didn't know what an ounce of alcohol was. I didn't understand what a cocktail was or a beer was.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it was just like drinks. So I was pretty wasted, yeah. So that experience there got me into like liking the clubbing scene, liking to just like have fun, put myself out there, I feel. This whole time I was staying in hotels. After that, I started staying in hostels because a lot of people were like, why the fuck are you not staying in a hostel? And I did that. And then that kind of introduced me to the part of me where it's like, I like meeting people, I like talking to people, because I kind of grew up with my school friends. They were my only friends. My dad was at the time 52, and his friends were only his school friends. Maybe a couple like from here and there, but like most of them were his school friends. They always tell you, it's your school friends. You need to like always hold on to them. You need to be close to this friend group for the rest of your life. Yeah, I know. And then when I met these people at the hostel, I was like, wow, this is amazing. And then they left, and I was like, oh, kind of taught me how to move on from these things. And then I kind of got arrested in Italy for being 6, I wasn't arrested. It was just like, it was underage and they had need to consent form thing, but they kind of took me away. That kind of grew something else in me. The next trip, I planned the whole thing on myself. Went to my first ever gay bar in Budapest, had my first ever kiss there, and I was like, wow, I can actually be publicly gay. At that time, I was like, I'm gonna live my whole life in Egypt, closeted, no one's gonna know anything. Like, that was the plan. After that bar night, I was like, wow, I can actually do this.
So it was like that?
Yeah, it was one thing after the other, one thing after the other. After my surgery, like, little parts and bits of my life kind of formed who I was, kind of made me realize who I am. And I feel like a lot of people won't be privileged enough to have these crazy weird situations where they learn about these things. So yes, you might think right now that, oh, this is what I want, this is what I was born into, this is what it's expected of me, but that does not mean that this is what it is. You could, and I know I'm just 20 right now, and like it could sound like I'm just like way younger and I'm just like, oh, just saying these weird crazy things, but I feel like I've ran into a lot of people in my life that in the middle of their lives are like, fuck it, I'm gonna switch this up. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna start discovering this. I'm gonna start discovering that. That's what my mom is doing right now, actually. She's like just putting herself out there. She just called me a couple of days ago. My mom would never dare to go to a club, and she was like, I can't wait to come to Canada. And like when everything's open again, I'm like gonna go out dancing with you. And she actually said she could come to a gay bar with me, and I was like, wow, that is insane.
Oh my God.
So yeah, what I'm trying to say is that you might grow up and like think right now that you are meant to be this one thing, this is who you are. But then also I thought I'd never go nude at a beach like just a year ago and just check my Instagram. Look at me now. So yeah, don't be afraid to just fucking put yourself out there and experience new things and do new things. Like podcasts, for example. I had never thought I'd be able to like sit down and like have a full-on conversation. Like if it's an interview, someone's constantly asking me questions, that's one thing. But I was so intimidated by the idea, but here I am now.
Yeah, it's just like a free-for-all.
Yeah. So yeah, push yourself out there, do your thing, have your fun.
Yeah. You had said a point where like, you know, the whole reason why I started getting into that was that some people don't know who they are. So like, how do you be yourself when you don't know who you are?
How do you be yourself if you don't know who you are?
I guess you first got to figure out who you are.
Well, I guess that, but also experience. The things I just pointed out were things that I very much enjoyed. I have done a lot of things that I do not like right now. You know what I mean?
Good point.
Yeah, like there's so many foods that I've tried, so many countries that I've visited, so many, like what, for example? Let me think of something. Skydiving, for example. I thought it was like, oh, I can't wait to do it. It's going to be amazing. It was like an experience. And I did it. And I was like, wow, that is horrible. I hate this so fucking much. I realized I don't have a fear of heights, but I realized that I cannot be up there in the sky just doing that. I have that video. Oh my God, I'm going to send it to you.
Yeah, do it.
I was like hanging from the plane and they had to push me out. It was like, and when you sign the form, it's like if you're up in the air, it literally says, like unless you're dying, they will like take like if you're outside of the plane, that's it. Like you gotta go for it.
Yep.
Yeah, I tried cockroaches in Thailand that I didn't really like very much. I knew I wasn't gonna like them, but like that's what that's what I mean. Like you just gotta try different things, a lot of things, to know what you like eventually, to like kind of form your personality. Yeah. Because you grew up thinking that you like these things. You might think you like something and eventually turn out that you really don't like. I thought I like classic music for the longest time ever, like really, really old classic music. And then as soon as I heard, what's it called? Everybody's in the house tonight. Party rock anthem. That's what it's called.
You totally did not do a good job of singing that.
Yeah, we realized that I'm not a good singer. Yeah. When each and every show that I applied to did not accept me, that was not... I genuinely thought I was good. I can't be that bad. Come on.
You didn't sound that
When marimba rhythm starts to play. How was that?
Good.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
A bit off topic there. Whatever.
No, it's all good. It's entertainment.
I tried.
But yeah, no, that's a very good point. Like, just experience as much as you can, because that's one thing for myself too. I'm like, I remember one time I texted my sister, and I was like, in this is part of my finding myself journey. And I texted her and I was like, I don't even know what I like. I don't even know if I fucking like grapes or not. I can't tell. I'll eat a grape and I don't know if I like it.
Oh my God.
I don't know what I like and what I don't like. And
so important, grapes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like critical. I do not know.
Serious. I had to know. Verdict. I like grapes just with no seeds.
Me too. Have you had frozen grapes?
I have.
Oh, so good.
Yeah,
Okay,
they
carry on. Carry on.
But yeah, I just started asking myself also why a lot. A lot. With everything that I found myself to be doing, like, you know, if I ever, like, there were times that I used to exaggerate stories a little bit back then, and I would ask myself, why am I doing that? I'm doing that because I'm trying to seem more interesting. Okay, so why don't you just sound more interesting when you're saying the story and flail around a little bit and, like, do this, and all of a sudden, boom, it's a great story, and guess what? It was all the truth, right? So, like, by asking yourself continuously, why do I do this? Why is this? Why? When you're experiencing everything is when you will start to find those answers on who you are, and that's when you'll be able to be yourself. Because also, if you don't challenge yourself to ask yourself why, you'll start to realize that you're doing a lot of things without knowing your reasoning behind it, and that doesn't sound like a very solid foundation to be out there living our lives on, just doing it because we're doing it. Like, why are you doing that? Like, why do you do this? And a lot of the times too, when you question yourself about even when it comes to, like, your speaking process, your thinking process, when you read, when you are in relationships, you're talking to your parents, when you keep asking yourself why, it will unlock a lot of things that you didn't know about yourself. And the more you know, the more information you have with to work to go be a better person if that's what you want to do. And
That's so true.
Whatever
That's
it is.
So true.
Yeah. But I just found myself kind of living in this, like, weird, awkward phase with myself where I'm just like, I wasn't real. I didn't like myself at all. I hated myself at the time, actually. And yeah, I just wasn't asking myself why enough. And then when I started asking the questions why, I'm like, oh, okay, that's who she is. Oh, that makes sense. And you know, a lot of these things too, a lot of the times the answers aren't nice. A lot of the times the truth to your questions about yourself don't have very pleasant answers to it, but that's okay because we're all fucked up.
Honestly,
That's okay,
Not
'cause-
just the world is fucked up, man. Everything's crazy right now.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
it
so
is.
true, so true.
It is, yeah. So when you find that your why answer isn't very pleasant, that just means obviously that you have some work to do. But guess what? Now you know the problem, so now you can go work on that, and that just brings you that much closer to being yourself.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. How you feeling?
Feeling great.
Feeling great?
Feeling absolutely great.
Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah. I had something, but then she said something, and I kind of like forgot about it.
That's what that pen and paper was here, if you remember.
Yeah, I remember. At the very beginning, I was like, I'm not gonna write anything. Like, come on, I'm gonna remember everything.
Right?
And now I'm
And
just
it
like,
never
oh
happens.
god, yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of
That's
forgot
okay.
what I was saying.
I'll give you a minute. In that meantime, anybody want to hear a joke?
Please.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I feel like
No.
I'm pretty excited for a joke. Okay, this is when I learned at Calabash, which I'm sure you guys in the studio have totally heard this one before too. They're not even listening.
No, they hate us.
No, you have
They
new.
totally hate us.
What did Winnie the Pooh call his babysitter?
What?
Punani.
Ha ha.
Anyway, I was trying to spare you some time. Did you figure out what you wanted to talk
No,
about?
I didn't.
Yeah,
well,
'cause you were
actually,
thinking about my
yeah.
joke.
That being said, I have noticed that. What, are they talking shit about us?
Yeah,
back
they
there?
are.
They're fucking talking shit about us
Yeah,
back
they
there.
are.
Yeah. Plastic's not gonna protect you for long. I'm just saying. But seriously though. Very recently, like early this year, I was so big into drag. Like I was like, oh my god, this is my dream. This is gonna be it. This is it. And I had just like had a whole thing planned out. I bought so much stuff. Like I have a full-on drag closet.
I believe it.
Yeah, like yeah, it's a lot. It's a bit too much actually. And then like a couple of months into it, I was kind of like got sick of it. And before that, when I was doing my activism in Egypt, I thought that I had always wanted to be an activist. I've always wanted to do what I'm doing. And then I kind of moved on from that. And then I don't know. I feel like yes, you will find a lot of things in your life that might seem like, oh, this is it. This is what I like. This is my passion. But also, it's okay to kind of like step through it, kind of like break through some things, if that makes sense. I think I'm saying it in a wrong way. That doesn't sound right.
It sounds like what you're trying to say is it's okay to keep changing things that you
Yeah,
like to do.
literally,
like,
that's exactly what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm trying
Yeah.
to say. Thank you so much for
No,
that.
I
I
got
was
you.
like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So pretty much like, if like, you know, I was struggling myself to figure out if I liked yoga or not. I tried it, like I was doing it a couple times and I was like, oh my God, I want to like yoga, but I didn't. And now I can say I truly like yoga, but it's because I started practicing it more and more. Then I'm like, once you start to see the improvement, then you start to really like it. Well, guess what? I'm not even doing much yoga anymore. I'm not saying it's just because I haven't really kept up with it.
It's just likes it though.
Yeah. Just because I haven't really kept up with it. But that's a very good point too, is like, we are constantly changing. If you are not changing daily, if you are not growing daily, then like what, like you're not really living, right? So when you find these things about yourself, just know that those things probably aren't going to change. When you find these things that in your life that you enjoy, just know that those things can totally change too. And just because it works for you at that moment does not mean that it's always going to work for you. Yeah.
What was a breakthrough moment for you? What was something you did that was like, oh fuck, this is it. This is
Like in the sense of what?
sense of whatever. In the sense of like for example, to me, it was like, I guess my going up on stage, doing my first ever speech, it was so real. Like, it just didn't feel real before when someone asked me to actually go and speak in front of people. It was actually just a class, so it was like 20, 30 people. And as soon as I was there, I was like, wow, this is real. This is insane. There are people looking at me. I have to memorize my speech. I forgot almost every word. It was kind of shitty, but I did it. You know, I kind of pulled through and I did it. And then the second time, third time, like, it was just like every time I would be like, oh, fuck, people. And then as soon as I'm in front of them, as soon as you caught their attention, it was like, whoa, this is happening. This is real. And these were like kind of breakthrough moments for me because it just showed me that I can do that, I guess. Because like going back to before I had my surgery, when I was like back then, I had zero confidence. Just walking into a room would kind of stress me out. I have an anxiety, so I could always think of what is this person thinking? What is this? What is that? But I feel like giving these speeches, I just kind of broke through that.
Okay.
That's kind of what I mean. That was a very long explanation.
Yeah. No, actually,
Back
and
to
it's
you.
funny because when you asked me that, the first thing that popped into my mind was one time when I did get on stage as well. It was after this like 4-day thing. It was super, super, super intense. And I kept trying to put my hand up all weekend to try to speak, and I didn't really get the opportunity to. There was a room of about a couple hundred of us. And finally she called on me. I think she did this on purpose. She called on me when it was like the final night, and I just had to go talk about my experience. I blacked out. I remember none of it at all, like literally not even a second of it. From the moment that I got up there and I looked at, like, there's probably 300 people in the crowd.
With the lights and everything? Oh, it's so stressful.
Yeah, I completely blacked out, and everybody kept walking up to me. Enya, oh my God, that was so powerful. I totally feel you. We had the same experience. Thank you. We had the same experience, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, yeah, like, yeah, totally.
Sure. Yeah, I know exactly what I said.
But that was just a very, very tiny moment for me. I feel like what I broke through with that was more so my stage fright. Actually, I didn't really break through with that with my stage fright because it whatever. Anyway,
I think breaking through your stage fright is not a thing.
Exactly.
Unless you're like Lady Gaga or something. Like, I don't think actually performing in front of millions of people.
You know what I gotta say though? I gotta say, like, coming onto these podcasts from the very get-go, like about a year ago, to now, I now have no nerves coming into these. Only recently with the past like few episodes. But prior to that, definitely nerves. I think it's also just the pressure, you know. But yeah, I don't think that I've ever really had like an exact like breakthrough moment. I feel like constantly I'm pushing myself to do things that make me uncomfortable, and things that are out of my normal. I'm constantly trying new things and saying new things. I even try like new laughs sometimes because I'm like, oh, I'm so over mine. Always reverts back to the same thing. And if you know me, you know what that wheeze laugh sounds like. It's
oh
real.
My God, I was literally just talking about that with my friends. I have the weirdest laugh sometimes, you guys. Let me demonstrate.
What?
That's my laugh. It's horrible. And
No. That's funny.
That was my old laugh, but now you see I kind of broke through that.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Mine's just like loud and whatever, but when I'm like really, really laughing, it's like a and then I'm really loud and then silent wheeze. Yeah. But that's all for me, and it's all for you.
That's all for
All right.
me.
That is all for us. Remember to subscribe so you can, be part of my YouTube thing and keep those subscribers up, and you know how it goes. Yeah. And I'm gonna end this episode like I end every single other one, which is keep smiling.
Peace.
Yeah.